Good evening, my dear followers, and welcome to Beyond the Deal, a space for debate and reflection that, like every Friday, I have the pleasure of bringing to your screens. Scams, bad practices, disappointments, deception, and lawsuits. This is probably what you have heard from a family member, friend, or acquaintance who's had a not so great experience with a real estate agent. In this episode, I'll be talking about some of those practices that I, as an agent, have had to face. And at the end, I will share some tips so that tomorrow you won't become a potential victim of poor practices. The information we provide here is open to all of you. The only way we ask for your appreciation is by subscribing, sharing, and commenting. Remember, it's free and can change lives. Let's get started. Before we get started, I should mention that our lawyers have asked us to remind you that what you heard here is not legal advice. For that, please consult your lawyer or ours. There is no problem with that. I'm going to leave the links right below in the comments. They can help you very well from their expertise. Trust a realtor. Contradictory, right? Being a real estate agent and titling one of my program's episodes this way, I would say it's not only contradictory but also sad, don't you think? A title like this cuts doubt or at least raises questions about what a real estate agent does. But I have my reasons. For a long time, even before starting Beyond the Deal, I thought about making a video exposing certain practices that I, as an agent, have had experience with other licensed individuals in the real estate industry. I won't share names. This is not a gossip show, but one about growth. And I have already made my discomfort known to those involved. But I will share those stories so that you can avoid ending up in an undesirable situation. Do you remember when in one of my previous episodes or shows I mentioned how it's unfortunate that the barriers to entry for this profession are so low they are practically non-existent? Well, one of the serious consequences of this is that it allows anyone who spends a month studying to get a real estate license, even without speaking English, which I really find absolutely ridiculous. And especially when every document used in those transactions and without exception is in the official language, of course, of the United States, which is English. And this is not discrimination, not at all. But how can someone represent another person in negotiations in a language they don't understand? Especially when it comes to something as delicate as buying or selling real estate. Crazy, right? Well, that's a reality. The fact that anyone can get this license, unfortunately, makes poor practices common in many transactions, especially in South Florida, where it's not secret that's one of the states with the highest volume of reported frauds in recent years. Just to give you an idea of the scale of this, according to a Forbes article published on August 4th of 2023, that same year, Florida reported 380 frauds for every 100,000 residents, resulting in total losses of $99.9 million. Just imagine the ground we are standing on and how cautious we need to be both as clients and as professionals in this or any other industry. This is why we work closely with a renowned real estate law firm in South Florida, the Office of David Dajavalli, also known as the closing law firm, to ensure the protection of our clients, their rights, and their assets. We're going to a commercial break, and when we come back, you will hear a few stories you will never want to be part of. We're coming back shortly. What a beautiful property, right? It's a great investment with tons of potential in Miami Gardens. It's situated on a 9,000 square foot corner lot, less than a minute from Palmetto Expressway. It's just right next to it. It's very well connected. So for more information, just contact us at the number we're gonna leave here on the screen. Now, speaking of poor practices in real estate, I remember a time I visited a family selling their house on their own, or for sale by owner as also known. And of course, one of the questions I asked was, well, why are you choosing to sell this property yourself without prior experience in handling these kinds of transactions? Regularly, the reason is common, and it's commission. Many sellers think they'll save money by only paying their buyer's agent, but numbers prove that the seller's agent, if they do their job right, can help the seller get more money than they would on their own, even after paying both agents' commissions. But that wasn't the point in this case. The reason this client decided to sell on their own wasn't about commissions. It wasn't easy to get them open up, but little by little, we broke the ice and the family was willing to share. Listen to this. It turns out the house they lived in was bought in desperation after the passing of one of their children. They were too distracted to keep track of all the details, and with no prior experience in real estate, they contacted an agent who handled everything. This agent arranged inspection with his preferred inspection company and also chose his preferred title company, and the transaction was completed. But after just 2 months, the family began experiencing problems with the plumbing and the roof. I don't remember, but I believe it had some leaking. So unfortunately, none of those were in optimal conditions as they thought. The buyers contacted the agent who has said those issues hadn't shown up in the inspection. So I asked them, "Did you not see the inspection results?" To which they replied, "Hey Leo, with everything happening with our child and with no experience We didn't even know we had the right to review those reports. It may sound silly, but I think it could happen to anyone. There is a saying in Cuba that says, those who don't know are like those who can't see. For you to know, in the state of Florida, property owners are required to disclose any known issues that could negatively impact the property's value and that are not visible to the buyer. But how do you prove to a judge that the owner knew about those issues? It's not easy to win cases like this, but it can all be avoided. If you are a responsible real estate agent, avoid misunderstandings between inspection companies and your clients by creating a list of inspection companies you have worked with in the past. Share the list with your clients, but never limit them to just one option. Let them make their decision based on research. And then, once the result of the inspection comes, let your client decide what they want to do based on those results. By, of course, your guidance, your support, your professionalism, and your expertise. But let them choose what they want to do. Unfortunately, another classic bad practice you often see is in rentals, where the landlord's agent tells the tenant's agent that the property just went under contract, yet it stays listed for 2, 3, 4 weeks and still active in the market. Or you have listing agents who say, if you come along, I will only charge first month and deposit. If you come with a realtor, you'll pay 3 months, first, last, and deposit. It's a shame, and it's unfortunately common. And the last story I want to share happened to a client we're currently working with to find an apartment. So there are rental applications, as you may know, that require here in Florida a $100 fee to check the criminal records and review credit history. Well, with this client, they tried to charge her $200 instead of $100. But as fate would have it, she decided to not to move forward with that property, saving herself a $100 scam. Honestly, there is no point in this, in me sitting here and trying to convince you that this profession is free of those issues. If you're here watching and you're made it to this part of the program, it's because you're loyal to us. And the best way we can thank you for that loyalty and trust is to open your eyes to what's out there if you decide to buy, sell, or rent with an unknown real estate agent. That said, this doesn't mean you should think negatively about this profession, which I consider amazing when practiced with professionalism and integrity. How many times have you heard of lawyers, doctors, engineers making mistakes? A lot, right? In my case, a lot. But that doesn't make medicine, law, or engineering fraudulent fields. It's the same in real estate. Just because there is a bad apple doesn't mean they all are. At this point, you may be wondering, Leo, is there a way to avoid everything you have talked about? And the answer is simple and is yes. But how? Well, first, if you're thinking about renting, buying, or selling a property, take the time to do your research on the professional you want by your side throughout the process. Look for someone who inspires trust and provides knowledge. Make sure to check past clients' reviews or records of previous transactions. Thus, speak volumes about their experience and give you an idea of what to expect if you choose them to represent you. And lastly, be loyal. Don't jump from agent to agent taking whatever news story each one tells you. Stick with the representative who has proven to know their stuff and who respects and protects your interests. Unfortunately, we're out of time, but I hope that with this program, instead of feeling afraid, you have learned enough to avoid falling victim to the wrong practices and gained a little more appreciation for that real estate professional by your side or who you have already spoken to and who you can trust is giving their all for their clients. Until next time, and as I always say, I hope that whatever happens to you between now and the next time we meet is absolutely amazing. Be happy out there.